Hi, I'm Michael, and I did the farmer's market for 14 years up to the point where I was diagnosed with cancer in 2022. I had to stop doing the farmer's market completely because of the chemo and the doctor's appointments just made it very unrealistic for me to continue with farmer's market. Last year I started doing just one small market, smallest of the 5 that I did previously, and I want to share with you how I do farmers markets, because prior to that I made a lot of money selling baked goods at the farmers market, and I use the philosophy that I call 6 into 36 and repeat, and that's where you invest $6 in the morning, and in the evening you sell that $6 worth of stuff for $36, and you can repeat this day after day after day. And it's also scalable, so if you have $12 you can turn it into $72. If you have $100 you can turn it into $600. So you can scale it to whatever size market that you're doing. So if you're doing a small market, you may only invest like $18 or $24, and if you're doing a very large market like a Saturday market like I did, it was over $100. Now, I also want to share with you all of my recipes that I used at the farmers market that were super popular, that had people coming back week after week, year after year for these items. I love my customers a lot. I hope they are making these recipes also. But yeah, I'm here to help you make a lot of money selling baked goods at the farmers market, and these are true and tried recipes that are guaranteed to really bring in the income. So today's recipe is a blueberry lemon loaf, and I started doing it probably later in my farmers market career, because I came across the recipe and used it, and it turned out to be incredibly popular at the farmers market. I think it was like 2019 or even 2020 during the pandemic. I had a lot of time to kind of like play with things, and I know I had it during the 2020 farmers market, which was a real disaster, but that's a different story because it was truncated and I didn't have all the farmers markets. I just had a couple small ones. But anyway, let's get going with it. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to grease and butter your pans. And I'm using these little pans that I got at the very beginning of my farmers market career. It's one of my kind of first investment outside of the cookie sheets with the lids that I bought, that made transporting everything so easy. And the oven just told me that it is ready and preheated. So we need to get going on this. So when I first made it, I didn't know if it was going to be a super big success, but it did build, and I had customers when I didn't have it come and say, "Oh, you don't have this?" I said, "Well, come back next week and I will have it for you." So a lot of times it's trial and error. I've tried things that I thought would be really successful, and I've tried to push it onto the market and no takers for it. And then I've tried things that just out of a whim say, "Oh, we'll make this and we'll see where it goes," and find out that didn't have much hope for it, but it turned out to be a really popular item. Now, I have tried to do this loaf as a very big loaf, like a full-size loaf, just like no little loaves, just one large loaf, and I have not been able to make it turn out with this recipe. It only seems to turn out if I'm using like small pans or some sort of different thing. And we want to put the flour in here. I'll put the flour in some of them, and we want to flour them really well. And these cookies also look really good, so they look really appetizing with the blueberries, and they have a really strong lemon scent to it. So which is always really good because I have several customers that will want to smell the items, because smelling it is basically tasting it, and if it smells good, you know it's going to taste good. And we're closing in on the flouring. Almost there. Yeah, I'm really looking to get back into the farmer's market. It's just a few weeks away now. Yeah, super excited. I'm also on a chemo holiday, which is really good because it allows me to have a little bit more energy to be able to do things like the farmer's market. We're going to put this aside, and we're now going to do cup and 3/4 of sugar, and then we're also going to zest our lemon into that. And this is like the best way to get a really good lemon flavor, is to just zest your sugar, or zest your lemon into sugar, and to mix it up so the sugar kind of breaks down and takes on the scent of the lemon zest or the lemon flavor, and it really works out. I never did it before this way, but I had a couple recipes that actually specified doing it this way, and they actually told me why, and I now understand why to do it. So yeah, so it doesn't like add any extra time to it because you're still grating the lemon. You're just like at what point of the process you're grating the lemon. And we're getting close to this. Okay, and we want to scrape this down. There we go. And then we just kind of like mash sometimes it's actually easier to do it with your hands. You just want to like break up those little clumps of sugar zest, or the lemon zest, into the sugar. And you're getting this really nice kind of pale lemony color. Okay. And once we get there, we're going to then cream in our butter, and that's like 2 sticks of butter, which is like 1 cup. And it is getting nice and warm here in Iowa. So I think today it was about 85. So my butter is nice and soft, and it's going to cream up really fast and easy. And there you go. So much faster than the last video that I did. Okay, and we're going to add in 3 eggs. And 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and we're going to mix that together. And you can smell the lemon flavor. And then we want to add in 2 tablespoons of baking powder and 1 salt. And then we're going to put in our flour, or some of our flour, and then 1/2 of our buttermilk, which is 3/4 of a cup. And it doesn't need to be completely mixed in. And we'll add in another 1/3 of that, and all the rest of the buttermilk. going to scrape down the sides because you've got flour up on the sides and apparently some flour on the very bottom. Ooh, and some cream mixture. Let's get all that up there. Okay. We'll mix it a little bit more. Okay. And now we are going to fill our loaf pans. So good. Wonderful lemon flavor. And I do this with 2 scoops on the bottom. Of course, it will depend on what pan that you're using. And you just throw them in there however you want. Preferably rather evenly, not too lopsided. This also ensures that every cake is pretty much identical, which means that it's easier for it to bake evenly. So one cake is done, so you don't have one cake that's done and one cake that's not done. Okay, and then you take your blueberries, and we have like 1 package of blueberries, and you're just gonna pop them in there and you're gonna press them and level out the cake. Now, I do it this way because I once had a peach shortbread cake, and all the peaches were at one end of the cake, so it didn't quite get evenly distributed. So I'm very conscious now of making sure that the blueberries are evenly distributed, and this is like the best way I know to make sure that they're evenly distributed. And just press them in there. Come on, get over there, yeah. Put one more in that little corner there. There we go. And some more here. Nice amount. Okay, push them down. And by doing this, you also are like leveling out your dough. Okay, put one right there. Okay, then put a few more in this one. One there, and one there, one there, one there, and one in that corner. And then you're going to then scoop up another amount. You're going to layer it kind of across the top if you can. And I always have a little bit of extra dough left, and that's where I just start putting a little dab there, a little dab extra in each one of them. And we'll get the spatula back. Okay. Got all the batter in there. And then we're going to take the remaining, oh so good, we're going to put the remaining blueberries, sprinkle them kind of on top here. That last layer, these are the ones that are going to probably show through on top, that makes it so beautiful. One on the floor, we'll pick up that later. Hopefully I won't step on it. Okay, and then we'll just push these down now a little bit more, even them out. Try to get the blueberries evenly distributed as much as possible. Get that one over there. So they look pretty on top. And there you have it. They're going to go into the oven at 350 for about 35 minutes. So they're getting ready to come out, but we're going to put sugar glaze on top, and you do that by mixing half a cup of powdered sugar, a tablespoon of water, and half a teaspoon of lemon juice. And just stir this up so it becomes a nice paste. And this will create a nice kind of like how should I say, a kind of a thin coating on top, because I don't want it to be a super heavy coating on top. I want it to be a nice thin glaze, and we need to apply it when it's super hot, when it's fresh out of the oven, because that will help the water evaporate in the glaze, giving you a nice kind of crusty sugar topping on it. Okay, we're there with that. And I think we're about ready to come out with the loaves. And here they are. Yeah, just right. And again, want to drizzle on the little sugar coating and get coated. You do not want a lot of this on there. I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but it is not staying as a thick item on there. But yeah, I'm gonna put a little bit more on this one. It was the first one we did, we were kind of stingy. A little bit more. Okay, and there we are. We're now going to let them cool. It's probably going to take about an hour. In the meantime, I want to share with you some of the pricing for this, so I know how much I charge for them. The flour was 45 cents and the sugar was 45 cents. The butter was $1.75. The lemon was 50 cents. I know we only use the zest of it, but I do squeeze out the lemon juice and I keep it stored for other projects. So I'm getting a little bit extra free bonus on that one. And then there's 3 eggs, which is 50 cents. Vanilla, 5 cents. Salt, baking soda is like 15 cents, or 5 cents. And then powdered sugar was just 25 cents. But the big kicker here is the blueberries. And I got these blueberries on a deal at $1.99. Around this time of year, they're about $2.99. But there are moments in time when you can pick up a package of blueberries for 99 cents, or I have in the past. At that time, I generally kind of stock up on them. So the price per item will come down if I do it that way, or if I can find a deal at $1.99. So the total comes to $6.09. You times it by 6, so you end up with 40, 54. And then you divide that by 8, because we got 8 cakes. It comes out to $4.56. And I was charging last year's $3.75 for them. I do know that this year they'll probably be going up. But at the same time, I also know that I probably will be buying blueberries cheaper than this as well. So I probably won't bring it up to $4.50. But I'll probably definitely be bringing up to maybe $4.25. So there we go, that while they cool, and then we will package them up and I will show you how that all looks. Well, they've cooled down and we are going to start packaging them up. And I like running a little spatula around the edges here, because sometimes the blueberries kind of make things sticky. And that came out just beautiful. You pop them in the bag. This makes a beautiful and delicate cake, and I just love it. These are almost just a little bit too big for these bags, but these are my favorite bags. And they do fit, though very, very snugly. All done. And there you have it. You have 8 beautiful lemon blueberry loaves, and they are super popular for everyone that I've encountered loves them. So I'm sure you'll have great success with them too. Now the recipe is down below. Please hit like, subscribe, make comments. I love reading the comments. I love learning about you as people, and you can also give me suggestions on how to be a better presenter, recipes that you might think would be working good at the farmer's market, because I don't exactly have a monopoly on every single recipe that works good at a farmer's market. So yeah, please keep in touch. Come back next week for another great recipe. Thank you.